Good day, parents and children. Our lesson today will be about reflection symmetry. So I've listed a few keywords for the children, and that's symmetry and reflection. I've just made a note here for what you need for this lesson is paper, scissors, ruler, and a pencil. Okay, so you will see the first diagram or picture that shows you reflection symmetry. I've cut it out, so there you've got your face. So what reflection is all about, it means that if you draw a straight line through a shape, if it is symmetrical, that means if you fold along this line, then the one half of the shape will fit exactly on the other half of the shape. So remember, you need to fold along the line of symmetry, and then you will see the eye and then the lips, it's fitting exactly on top of one another. So this half is exactly the same as this half. Okay, so that's why we call this one a symmetrical shape. So let's just go through the definitions. So a shape is symmetrical when a straight line divides it into two identical halves. Okay, then the one half is the reflection of the other half. Okay, so let's look at a few mathematical shapes. Two polygons. How many lines of symmetry do you see? Okay, so what you need to do is when you count the number of lines of symmetry, remember that you have to count the whole line and not half of it. Otherwise, your answer is going to be incorrect. So this is 1, 2, 3 lines of symmetry. So it's got 3 lines of symmetry. Now, what's interesting about this shape, this is an equilateral triangle. That means that all the sides are equal in length. Okay, so this side and that one is equal in length. So I want you to keep that in mind for now. Let's look at the square. What's the properties of a square? We also know that the square has equal sides. How many sides? 4. So all 4 sides are equal in length. Now I want you to go count how many lines of symmetry the square will have. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of symmetry. Okay, so what's interesting about this is that if you have a polygon with all sides equal in length, the number of lines of symmetry will be the same as the number of sides for the polygon. And that is what I've got here at the bottom. So that definition is something that we can remember. A polygon with equal sides have the same number of lines of symmetry as the number of sides. Okay, so let's go on to the next part. Right, so what you see here is an example of what the children in the foundation phase normally get. They just need to draw the other side of the bird, and that is when they are introduced to symmetry. But with us in grade 6, we need to move on, and we need to move towards mathematical symmetry. And we use paper that looks like this, and we call this squared paper. Okay, so when we say, for instance, we want to know how long this side is here, we are not going to say 2 blocks. We're going to talk about units. We're going to measure in units, okay, because it's not in terms of centimeters or millimeters here. So how long is this side? It is 2 units long, okay, right. So I need to go and draw the other side or the reflection of this shape. Okay, so this is just half of the shape. So pay attention carefully when you work with drawing with symmetry. Remember to use your ruler, because then you work accurately. Okay, right. So what I will start with, I always start with the lines that is easy to copy. Okay, so the lines that are easy to copy are the ones that are drawn on the lines of the squared paper. So I said just now, this is 2 units long. So on the other side, you need to draw the line that's the reflection of that. That's also 2 units long. Okay, so there I go. And then I've drawn the line that is 2 units long. Okay. And then if you look at this, this is diagonal line and it meets the line of symmetry here in the middle. So that will be the same on the other side. So I would just want you to connect this point and that point with one another. Like that. Okay, and then you do exactly the same at the bottom because it's more or less the same. So count your units, 1, 2 units, so you will move towards this side also with 2 units to the right. Okay, so that is 1, 2 units. And then I will connect this point and that point, and then I've drawn the reflection of the shape. Okay. Right, then this one you can copy in your books and then you can try it by yourself. Right, then I want to talk about the rectangle. Now, this I've picked this one because normally when we teach this in class, children tend to think that the rectangle has the same number of lines of symmetry as a square, but that isn't true because a rectangle is a different shape than a square. A rectangle has 2 lengths and 2 breadths. Okay, so that changes the number of lines of symmetry. Now, normally if you want to know where the lines of symmetry is of the rectangle, what you can do, for example, is you can fold it in half like this. Okay, so then you can just fold that line. And if you open it up, then that line is splitting the rectangle into identical halves. So what you can do is then take your ruler. I'm just going to make a mark there for myself so I can see it properly. Okay, and remember I said to you that a line of symmetry is normally drawn as a dotted line. So that's how I'm going to do it with this one. Okay, so there's your first line of symmetry. And then the other half would be on the breadth. Okay, so then you will fold your rectangle in half like this. Okay, so then you open it up. And then I'm going to make marks for myself again so I can see it. And then I'm going to draw the line of symmetry using a dotted line. Okay, so how many lines of symmetry does the rectangle have? It has 2 lines of symmetry. Now, where the children make a mistake is they think that there will be a line of symmetry that's diagonal going up to the right and one coming down from the left. But that's incorrect because if you fold it along those lines that they think that it has, it will not fit exactly on the other half. Okay, so if you fold it like this, you will see that it will not fit exactly onto the other half. So what is important about symmetry is that if you fold it, it must fit exactly onto the other half like this and like that. So that's why the rectangle only has 2 lines of symmetry. Okay, and then the last question that's interesting, how many lines of symmetry do you think a circle have? Okay, so some of you might think, okay, a circle will have one that goes through here, okay, and one that goes through here. So that's 1, 2. Oh, and maybe if they think further, then they will think, okay, then there will be one here, 1, 2, 3, and then another one there, 4. But there's actually an infinite number of lines of symmetry because you will have ones in between all these lines and between all of them and in between all of them. So there is an infinite meaning you can't count it, number of lines of symmetry. I will show you an example that's not complete. Can you see how many lines of symmetry they have here? And that's not even all of them. You have lines of symmetry in between all these lines and in between all of them, and it can continue. So there's an infinite number of lines of symmetry with a circle. Okay, so infinite meaning you can't count it. Right, then your homework, page 104 to 106 in your DBE book, and then Green Shoots Brain Quest 14. Okay, right, thank you for listening. Have a nice day.